Yes.
Another point you made here is that the January 15th, 1966 coup was not an Igbo coup.
Yes, and I still believe in that. Yes, it wasn't an Igbo coup. Of course, the majority of those who were in the army then, the most senior, some senior officer, they were of Igbo extract. But when we look at it, Odumegwu was a Yoruba man. Even Nzeogwu was from the Midwestern Nigeria. It was not a typical Igbo man. So we have Ganiyu Adeleke there. I think we have Fola, I forgot the name of the other people who are there, who are Yoruba as well. I named them. And we look at it, we see 3 of them were Yorubas, 3 from the Midwest, and then I think 7 or 5 from of Igbo extraction, from the East. So when you look at it, you can't say this is an Igbo coup.
You said the January 1966 coup started as a Nigerian coup.
Yes.
So did it end as a Nigerian coup?
It didn't, because it failed. And the conservative, the Bogois, they took power from them. And when you don't have a vision for anything, there's no way that person can succeed. You see, vision is very important. Those who had the vision, they crushed them. And the man without a vision took power from them, and what did he do with the power? He cannot do anything successful. That's why they took power from him.
So can you also say Ojukwu was not visionary? Because Ojukwu was one of those who led the counter-resistance against Nzeogwu.
That's right. It was part of the, yes, those people, yes, correct.
Madiebo.
Yeah, yes, Madiebo.
Convinced Nzeogwu,
yes,
to hand over the north.
Yes, that's correct.
Nwanwo. Now, these were Igbo men.
Nwanwo was a different, his own was different. But Madiebo from the beginning knew what he was doing. From the beginning. It was not what you can call a revolutionary, but some of the people in the army who are conservative. Yes, a reactionary. Let me put it that way. Madiebo was a reactionary officer.
You said Ojukwu frustrated Nzeogwu in the north.
Yes.
That's the word you used in your book.
Yes.
Ojukwu was a reactionary too?
He was. No doubt. He was a reactionary. Because probably, in this world, there's what we call jealousy. I think he was jealous of the Sussex of Nzeogwu. Because the Saran of Sokoto was like a god in the north. For him to have taken over the whole of the north, it was a huge success, a revolutionary idea. And our friend Ojukwu was jealous of him. And that's why he didn't give him command at all. Even in the East, when the war was there, he advised Ojukwu what to do to strengthen the Biafran army. So he told him attack is the best form of defense. But Ojukwu refused to give him command, was jealous of his Sussex. And some of the reasons why Biafran failed to achieve what they set out to do.
Nzeogwu died early in the war.
Yeah, he died early. Because he was somebody that was not content to sit down and bemoan his lot in life. He was a revolutionary soldier. So we take some people, including Tombiga, a relative of Ojukwu. He led them to raid the Nigerian army. In one of the raids, he fell in one of the raids. And that's why Gawan appreciated him very well. When I was speaking with Chief Obasanjo, he said everyone knew that Nzeogwu was a true nationalist. And that's why they gave him a rock burial. Even the federal government under Gawan said they should give him a rock burial, despite what he did in the north. What they knew is he was a genuine man. He was a genuine man.
He went to Sandos.
He went to Sandos. He was trained in Sandos.
Banjo went to Sandos.
Yes. I think, was it in Sandos? Yes. Later, they sent him to, they gave him a scholarship.
To University of London.
Yes. Later. It was the first Nigeria to be sponsored by the British Army to give a kind of scholarship to study mechanical engineering.
He was a revolutionary?
Yes.
He was a graduate?
Yes.
He didn't read the environment well, did he?
Well, things can change in life. You have a good idea. You did all what you can do, and it failed. That's part of our life.
Don't you think he should have supported the Nzeogwu revolution, the Nzeogwu revolution?
In what way we have done that? We have said now that he wished to carry out what they had in mind. If by supporting Ironsi, and he convinced Ironsi to bring in Nzeogwu, But Ironsi refused. He refused. So, there's limit to what he can do.
Perhaps he would have taken out Ironsi and then take over the leadership.
Well, he didn't have that in mind.
Are you sure?
Well, from what we have read about him, he was not someone that can betray his senior. He wasn't that man to do that. He believed that he can persuade.
You said he was a revolutionary.
Yes.
Revolutionaries are unpredictable.
No.
They are radicals.
They are not unpredictable. They are people with genuine idea to make changes.
And they can go
that
the
does not mean
lengths.
that they are unpredictable.
You know, Nzeogwu was ready to march on the south.
Yes.
I think millions were going to die.
Well, this is war, like I said. This war. If he has to march, then he would have marched. Not millions would die. He would have been successful if he has been allowed to march. But he didn't want that to happen anyway. He didn't want millions. That's why he listened to Madiebo, a reactionary officer.
And that's when I began to say his revolutionary instinct had some flaws.
Well, what happened was, Madiebo was the next person. The other officers in the West, it took them time before they arrived in Kaduna after the failure in the West and the East. So by the time they arrived, Madiebo had convinced him in the spirit of esprit de corps. We are all army. Don't worry, you have done well. Ironsi was a comrade in arms. So why should we shed more blood? Ironsi will form a good government. And that's why they brought his friend, Colonel Nzeogwu, to advise him. You know, we are human. No matter what you think of human being, we are human. If they bring my friend out to speak to me, I listen because he thought they were genuine. Okay, I'm not a bloodthirsty person. Nzeogwu thinks, okay, we can form a government. And they said, okay, they will bring him to Lagos, and they took him to Lagos, but it was met with machine gun and everything. So he was arrested. He has to behave himself, otherwise they would have shot him.
Do you think Banjo was among those who advised Ironsi to arrest him?
No. So he advised Ironsi to bring him into the government. So he wouldn't have advised him to arrest him. He cannot do the two things together. He advised Ironsi that, okay, we should bring this guy in to form a government. But Ironsi saw it the other way. One of the reasons why Ironsi saw it the other way was because of the fear of the Northerners. That's the problem, because most Northerners were killed during the coup. And some Westerners as well, like Akintola, like Odumegwu, and other people. Whereas no one was killed in the... That's why people time it as...
But an Igbo officer was killed. A lieutenant colonel, an Igbo officer from Anambra was killed. I can't remember his name now. But one Igbo officer was killed.
Oh, well, perhaps.
Yes.
But in the East...
He was killed in Lagos.
Nothing happened much in the East.
Yes.
That's why people time it an Igbo coup. But unless, when you see everything together, it's not an Igbo coup. But some officer betrayed the spirit of the revolution. And that's why some people time it as Igbo coup.
Ironsi was supposed to have been taken out.
That's another problem. They saw him that night. He was coming from a party.
Yeah.
Right? And he came out of the car. Instead of shooting him, they gave him a decent salary.
And that was an Igbo man that was stationed to take him out. It was an Igbo man. I think it was Major Okafo.
Yes, that led the officer that were there.
Yes.
And that questioned many things. Why was he allowed to go? But, you know, some people, when they enter a place, people begin to tremble.
But Odumegwu said he never wanted Okafo to carry out that mission. Because he suspected him.
Okafo was not a revolutionary, but they have to bring him in because of the position he was at that time. They have to bring him in.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live